welcome back. This is our second conversation for this morning. Also another insightful conversation. It's all about the new trade license, and we're going to talk about it as it pertains to Belize City, the old capital. And we have joining us on set Mr. Troy Smith, who's the valuation manager at the Belize City Council. Good morning, Mr. Smith.
Good morning.
All right, so I want to talk a bit about just in general, why a new trade license, and what are some of the standout features of this trade license, if you can.
Okay, the reason why for quite a while, over 12 years now, we were back and forth with this consultation process, and working with the Chairman of Commerce from the offset, we have put a moratorium on trade license not to increase. And so about 12 years now, there is no reassessment done in mass due to this reform. Another reform come to tuition come January 1st, 2025. And so there will still not be a reassessment as such, but there will be a new process. One is the issue of identifying the key components, which is 4 elements. One is the predictability, transparency, that it will be in the law, the fee was set in the law. All right, predictability, you could actually determine your fee. Revenue neutral, the council are not to lose any revenue. So for Belize City, if we are like 1.5 points on the million, in this reform we still give back the same 5.1 million. And the last one was the ease of administration, where you could apply now online, so you don't have to go downtown and try to find traffic. So these 4 elements is the major key of the trade license reform.
And in terms of consumers, who is affected by this new trade license?
Well, once you provide a service, you are required to get a trade license. That's the law. In this whole reform, there's 20 classification, right? And what we're trying to do over the years, we have over 1,000 different types of classification. In this new law, it centralizes it down, it limit to 20 classification, about 59 types of. You can have the mother and the child, for example, the accommodation. Under accommodation, you have hotels, motels, apartment, bed and breakfast. So you try to centralize it in the new international classification code.
Is there anything new well, not so new, is there anything now that businesses or service providers have to be aware of for a change?
Yes, under this new regime come on or before November 15. Every business must apply under the 7th schedule, which is the return. And in that form, you will have to now declare, not the council, the applicant will declare the new productive square foot. Now, productive square foot is where only used for profit. For example, you have the square foot of the building, but then have only that is being used for the productive of the business. Like, for example, hotels. Corridors are out, lobbies are out, stairways are out.
So that's not a part of what is being evaluated?
No, that would be less now, because right now we do the entire building. But this new law is only where the profit are being made.
So for example, you have a Channel 5 building, right? And we have operations, like operations in the next room, downstairs. But in the parking lot, nothing happened in that parking lot.
That's what we call common space. In the new law, what we are doing also, we are identifying the productive space by classification. So if you go a gas station, service station, different from a warehouse, and a different warehouse from a hotel. And so what we are doing in the legislation is to put the actual definition. So to the applicant, when you look at the law, you know, oh, I don't want a warehouse. And then in that same segment, the warehouse, some certain warehouse exempt from trade license. No, where on the storage you're exempt.
Yes.
But we have retail and wholesale.
Yes, selling out of it.
Correct. That is not exempt.
So how does this reassessment change the fees? Does it make it cheaper?
Yeah. What happened? The matrix is different. The matrix is actually start from your productive footprint, and then we have 4 zones in the city, zone 1, 2, and 3. We map out the zone. So we will give, what we are doing internally as a council, we are doing a lot of ArcGIS mapping. So we map out the entire city by zones. And so we could actually send that to we have a actual portal that you could actually get that, and you know exactly which zone in the law, it had the schedule by price per square foot. For example, like I get off my head,
Yeah.
accommodation, zone 1, 97 cents, zone 2, 93 cents, zone 3, 91 cents. So per productive footprint. So what you will do, you will take that footprint, calculate it by the rate that we have per square foot, times it by 12, and then in the new law, our rate down from 25% to 15%.
Wow. So the applicant then that is doing this online is able to calculate all of that, predict already
their fee.
Wow.
The thing is though, is that every 3 years, there's once you apply in 2025, we cannot assess till 3 years after. So it gives room for the economic development and growth, create more expansion, more employment. So the spirit behind the trade license, the new regime, is to give more economic enhancement to business. And also, the only trick to it, not trick, but the only main trick to it, is that if you are paying, I did yesterday in our methodology, for example, a business paying 600 right now. It's on, that's 24,000 times 25%, you're 600, because the rate is 25%. Now, in the new regime, if that same business, based on the square foot, dropped by 200, that means your fee should have been from 600 to 300. But because the law prescribes a flooring and a ceiling, you will not go straight to 300, it'll be 10% less of 600.
Wow. So you get reassessed every 3 years.
Every 3 years now.
No, right? And I think you mentioned it, but just to be clear, what are the factors that determines whether or not you'll pay more after those 3 years? You'll be paying more in fees. I think you said like expansion and stuff like that?
Yeah, correct. Once you, between now and 3 years now, it's 3 years remain the same.
Yeah, if everything remains the same.
But when the 3 years come up now, they do a mass reassessment, and based on the schedule that determine your new fee for the next 3 years.
If you've expanded.
If you expand.
It's an expansion, property.
As you alterate your business, we as the assessor goes and do the assessment for this year. So you already pay, you pay again because you expand. In this new law, once you pay, that's it.
Also, even if I over next year, I get paid this year, can you assess this year?
Correct.
And next year, I do only expansion.
I can't touch it till 3 years after.
Till 3 years after.
Why?
Because that's the spirit behind the reform is to give ease for business to grow, create employment and economic stability. That's the spirit behind it.
Yeah, that's good.
Because the present law in our view is antiquated. That's from 1960. 25% rate for annual rental value. 1960 far different from now. Rental fluctuate. And so Chamber is saying, man, this is killing. And then the subjectivity of the fee, where a board determine in the new law, the board don't determine your fee. The law determines, it's set in the law. The board only regulate. So
calculation determine your fee.
Correct.
And this law is already implemented.
Effective January 1st.
January 1st,
we
2025.
At the council are doing a lot of internal amendment because we are looking at the application. We need to send it out by email. Maybe we do it offline with the staff to get each business. We will also guide, because in the law, if you give a wrong square foot, you could charge, it's an offense to charge $500. There's a fine of 500. So you have to know exactly.
License and done, man.
You have to know what you're measuring. It's very important because that's the key to it.
That's
it.
Well, are you all available to evaluate before the person applies? No.
The person, when they apply, the person under the law have to produce.
So they have to do their own measurement.
Yeah, and this is the reason why we are in legislation determine what to look for.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about the street side vendors. Do they have to?
Those are schedules that fit, like peddler license is in the 8th schedule. These are fixed fees. So in the 8th schedule, peddler will pay $300 for the year, mechanical rise 500. These are already set in the schedule. And then you have in Schedule 2, automatic approval. There's 8 business that can get automatic approval. You don't have to wait. For example, education center, people will do daycare, take care of homes, all right? So they are just limited to 8. You don't have to go to a board that will get approved automatic, providing that you meet all the requirements that through the vetting process.
So leading up to January 1st, does every single business in the city have to re-register or sir, under this new
we are hoping under this new regime, because we have 2,600 plus business registered
2,600
on the tax net, but we will check the Bell Trade Index and the BTL Index. There's more
what
business
do you call them?
out here, right?
You call it their unofficial.
Like a virtual, online.
Yeah.
A lot of it we have, and then when you go to the Bell Trade Index and the BTL Index, that are mechanics, electrician, and so they are not registered for training.
Yeah. How do you?
This new regime, it make it more easier for them
How do you do that? How do you register a regulator?
Online
business with space
online
and all
business
of
is
that.
virtual. There is no
Square
office.
footage.
There's nothing, and that's why the law set my fee, which is $100 for the year.
That's not bad at all. And this is applicable countrywide.
Correct, because the village council now must start to pay the Ladyville now. Their fee are different. Their fee are fixed.
Okay.
For example, like Sky and these big mall ones that were 4,000 square foot, you pay $2,000.
Man, so you can't move that village for
And,
your tax now.
and you have business, less 600 and less square foot are exempt from trade license when it comes to the village.
Is there anything else that we need to know about this new regime that
Well,
you have not mentioned, Mr.
we at the council now is trying to do our robust campaign
They'll
to
talk about
educate the business community that they need to apply, they have to reapply to determine your new square foot. In the law, there's something called the rate book. The rate book is where it becomes your rule. They determine the building, ID number, you got a footprint, you got a square foot, you got a GPS. It's like a rule set out in the law that we will have to actually make sure and maintain. We are saying to the business community, don't give alarm, but it's to me it's more simplified and more better, because as a developer investor, before you comes to Belize, you don't know exactly what your trade license will be. It's much more simplified.
And so where can new businesses, old and new, can apply for this?
So the council is shortly will send out our robust information, because we are preparing a schedule where we can actually say where the schedule will be, and each business will have to apply to company registry for your business registration, which is important to determine that there's no other business like you in the country.
And the old one, if that old one up on your wall, that not accepted no more.
And the issue of displaying your certificate, what we are trying to do in the council is to look at the certificate to put either a QR code or a seal, because you identify the council certificate and you must display it. If you don't, there's a fee not exceed $1,000. It's in the law.
That is, and so how often? I know that you said that it's not until every 3 years that they have to renew, but will there be evaluations yearly or anything like that?
No, we just have to monitor the city, those who have business and those who have, because once you operate on a trade license, that's an offense, and the board can issue a stop order and carry it to court. That's something the board don't like to do, because we try to become business friendly. We try to educate, the 3E. We engage, educate, then enforce. Right? But if we engage and educate, we don't have to enforce. Because you understand the process.
And you're going to take action on that.
We are saying to applicant, if you don't understand, come into the council. We have staff that we are training, we got assessor, we got people who could guide the process. One of the things when it comes to the productive footprint, the council is saying to the general public, if you don't understand comes in, we will guide you to understand what to measure.
And it sounds like you all are trying to do to ease the economic burden of some of these businesses. It sounds like the application process should be simpler and easier, effective. And I mean, if you are only going to charge based on the productive footprint and the revenue, that's
excellent.
That's
example,
excellent.
The corridor there is a common space. Production isn't
You're only
happening
going
there
to
because
charge here.
This explanation, the multiplication includes the productive footprint, right? And so the more productive footprint you have, clearly the more you'll pay. And if you could minimize the productive footprint by only focusing on where production is happening, then that bodes well for the business. So for
like a restaurant, right? It's dining and cooking space.
Yeah, and then
but
the cashier area.
But not the parking lot, not the corridor where persons come in.
Yeah, now, What has been the public's reaction to this so
Well,
far?
we
Those who
recently had a
speak to.
public consultation
Yes, I
on
know.
culture. It was well received. The only concern is the new law. People don't understand the new law, the matrix, and this is where we have to help and guide the process, because while we understand that if your trade license is 600 and your square foot is less than more, you should have paid 900. You will not pay 900, you will pay 10% more from the 600, because the methodology shows where some businesses are totally undervalued and where some are overvalued. So they try to bring a balance on the books. So this trade license regime is a new thing. I mean, we can't knock it away until they try. For years, it's there pending. The last time we did the concept was 2019. Do all the mapping and so on never gone through because due to different issues and concern. It's not perfect, but it's good right now. We try to, and then the board makeup different. It will be a whole different makeup of the trade license board, where business society, civil society will be on the board now. Where first may have 5 members, they still have 5 members, but different entity from different institution. Then they got a tribunal board. When you disagree with, if you bring a square foot and as an assessor, I say you're wrong, then we go to the tribunal, and then the tribunal determines who's right.
Imagine.
It's a process.
Very transparent
right?
process.
Because the board not set the fee, but the board regulate, but the tribunal look at the appeal process.
Yeah.
All right, and so this, in the present law, the law under section 18 subsection 1, if you disagree with the assessment at the board, you must first pay, then appeal.
Right.
And this new law then change it to say when you appeal, you have to bring forth your evidence, and then based on the board, the tribunal determine, then you pay. I want to add though, if you pay late, it's a 10% interest charge.
How often do
every
you pay?
single month.
You pay every...
Trade license due only before the 31st of December. Because January 1st, you should have your trade license.
Okay, so you can pay early.
You can pay early, and what we are trying to do at the council, usually we pre-print bills in October, so you give enough time between October to December, you try to pay so you don't fall into the interest area.
Does the council take an initiative to call businesses, or should businesses?
We have a compliance department that do that. They have a debt department that look at bad debts and those who monitor these accounts. So they try not to go into arrears. So there's a whole sector we had that we are ready. But what we are doing now, we are doing our feasibility on the back end to determine 10 up, 10 down, we will still get our total figure. So before we send out the bills, we need to make sure that we do not lose revenue.
Businesses with arrears, those don't get forgiven under this new regime. They just roll over, and that remains what
Should
remains.
not be. But we have about, the trade license percentage collection is about 80 to 90%. This 10% equal to nearly $1 million outstanding.
Wow. Yeah,
and so
still.
these are where we are going to this business. Before we do the enforcement, we engage,
Have the
then we educate.
conversation.
Yeah, and then where you fail to do so, then we enforce.
Okay.
And there's a payment schedule in the law. There's trade license should not pay by schedule. It should pay up front. It's a fee, not a tax.
Yeah.
All right, and so it should pay up front. But people have things hard, so the city council tried to do a consent. You go to the court, make an out-of-court judgment to try to settle your trade. That's the spirit, is try to service your account. But you should not operate with a trade license.
I mean, it's a fee at the end of the day. For example, if you want to get into a club, and you can't go to the door and say, I'll pay you 15 now and I'll pay you 15 later. You pay you $30 and then you'll get in the club.
It just seems that there's a lot of leniency in terms of how much persons have
As
to
you've
pay.
said, it's the spirit.
It's the spirit, and I think that for the way that the economy is going right now, this is an excellent opportunity for business owners. So, Mr. Smith, we just want to say thank you so much for coming in and educating us, because I'm not a business owner, but I just feel like it would be good for me to know if eventually, right?
Yeah, we definitely have to
like
take some more time at another occasion to delve deeper.
I believe so, because say like when you're going to talk about 10% and 15%, people want to like maths. They don't know what
what you want to talk about.
But thank you so much for taking
final
time.
thoughts.
I want to add that this Saturday, the city council having a super sale. We are offering 20% on arrears on property tax. So the city council will be open this weekend. So if you have arrears, come in.
Come in.
You get 20% discount on your arrears.
Wow.
And the super sale is there too. You can get good deals also.
Yeah, correct. Use that saving and go buy something.
There we go. There we go. So, and then for the liquor license, now we are collecting renewal now for 2025 for liquor. And we ask that we're trying to encourage these businesses that has liquor and no pay taxes. We want them to tell the landlord, and if you pay the tax, man, because without the property you can't sell liquor. And so as a community, we ask you update your liquor license data, the landlord contacts, the applicant contacts. So the tribe, everything we're going e-govern now, everything will be online. Send your bill on. So you don't have to come downtown. We don't have, but not everybody computer savvy. We have the senior people there where we go manually and correct their assessment. And so it's a whole package of things we're doing, because this is our season for property trade, liquor, and in December, property tax.
All right, well, Mr. Smith, thank you so much. You've broken all of this down and summarized it so well for us to leave with information and knowledge that we did not have prior. So thank you so much for being patient with us and explaining. All right, so with that, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be kicking off the Garifuna Settlement Day cultural celebration.
Yeah.
What day today? The 22nd, so we're less than a month away from November 19th. We're going to be kicking off the celebrations right here on Open Your Eyes. You don't want to miss that segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.